everyone, and welcome to this week's video. I'm genuinely so excited for this video because I am reading 3 of my most anticipated reads of 2025. All 3 of the books that I'm going to be reading in today's video are new release romance books by some of my most favorite authors of all time. I would love to know your thoughts if you guys have already had a chance to read any of these books. I know they are brand new, but some of you guys like to stay on top of new releases, and I'm the same way. By the time I'm filming this, it's already the end of the week, so I've already read and reviewed all 3 of these books. Be sure you stay to the end of the video where I talk about all of my thoughts, what I rated them, what I recommend them, the spice levels, details, everything like that. And as always, if you guys like this video, it would mean the world to me if you guys would subscribe, like, and comment. YouTube is my newest platform, so I'm really trying to be consistent. So every time I see a new subscriber, like, or even a comment, I get so excited. You guys have no idea. And it's so motivating for me to keep going. But for now, let's get into the very first book of this video. Aunt Rue so much, and just hearing about how they became a family is just, it's touching my heart. I only have about 60 pages left of the book, so I'm probably just gonna sit here and finish it because it's getting really good. Every time it mentions Rue the Day, I keep thinking about Neville Papperman from iCarly. If you know, you know. I was just sitting here reading my book, and then I remembered it is 11 o'clock, which means Haley and Ryan's new video is posted. Obviously, I had to stop everything that I was doing and watch that video. And their Airbnb for tonight is at a lake house. This whole entire book takes place at a lake house. I'm only like 3 or 4 chapters in, and the whole thing has to do with a lake house. I think I need to go to a lake house. Also, I can't believe it's already day 39. Out of 50. Oh my god, this one's almost 40 minutes long. If you're wondering my initial thoughts on One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune, I really love it. The main character Alice takes her grandmother to a lake house that they used to stay at like years ago, decades ago, and Alice's grandmother is like 80 something years old now. She's having some medical complications, so Alice thought it would be such a great idea to take her grandmother to the lake house that they used to go to. This lake house is super meaningful because her grandmother used to go with her husband, Alice's grandpa, who passed away 20 years ago. So it's just a very, very meaningful place for all of them. So now Alice and her grandmother are having like a summer getaway, and it's the cutest thing, and I want to do that with my grandma now. Maybe I should do that with my grandma. Wait, that actually sounds so fun. I would love to do that. I'm only on page 34, and I'm so scared that something's gonna happen to Nan. Alice calls her grandma Nan. If anything happens to Nan in this book, I'm going to cry. Like a lot. I love Nan, and I love Alice so far. We've already met Charlie, but only over the phone. We haven't met him in real life yet, so it's a book. We aren't gonna meet Charlie in real life. Anyways, you know what I mean. Alice and Charlie have not met in person yet. They've only met over the phone. And I think he's really funny so far, and I like him, and I have a feeling I'm really gonna like this book. Alice really reminds me of myself in some ways. She talked about how she's a redhead. I'm a redhead. And then she talked about her sister who's a brunette, and like just her characteristics were very similar to my sister's, and then Alice's characteristics are very similar to mine. So I am already really invested in this, and I'm really excited to keep going. Also, I picked it up not knowing anything about it. All I know was that the cover was beautiful. And I've never read another Carly Fortune book. I know this is technically an interconnected standalone, and typically if it's an interconnected standalone, I love to read the first book first because then you meet the characters and then you see them in the second book. Kind of like Abby Jimenez's Part of Your World series, where technically you don't need to read them in person, but it just makes the experience so much better because you get cameos from characters that you already know, and you kind of already understand their characteristics and how they are as a person and their personalities. I just think it's so fun. This time around, I did not care to do that. I just wanted to read this one. But if you guys think that the first book is worth it, let me know, because then I'll go back, because I have a feeling I'm really gonna like this one. Anyways, I'm gonna keep watching Ryan and Haley's video, and then I'll get back to reading. book is so good so far. This book is the epitome of summer. Oh my gosh. I started it yesterday and I'm about to finish it. I don't know what it is, but typically I don't read books in 24 hours, but I did start this yesterday and I'm about to finish it. And that's been the same thing with my past few reads, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I have the biggest, fattest crush on Charlie. He is a perfect MMC and I love him. I'm on chapter 41 now. I have about 100 pages left to go. I think what makes or breaks a romance book for me is if I can believe the relationship between the characters. And one thing that I've noticed is super important for me to fall in love with the relationship is that the main characters need to be friends before they can ever be lovers. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I need to be able to understand their friendship and see them blossom a relationship out of that before they just jump into a relationship. I feel like that way you're able to really see like what they actually like about each other and how they understand each other on a deeper level. And these characters very much do, and I love to see it. Another one that I've read recently where you can see their friendship bloom before their relationship is Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Stone. That is one of my favorite romance books that I've read in 2025. Like, I love their friendship. A majority of the book was them being friends. And that made the relationship so much more believable because you just know they get along and how well they connect with each other. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And that's exactly how Charlie and Alice has been. Plus the setting of this one is just so summery. It takes place on the lake. It also takes place over several months, like basically the entire summer. So it's not just like they became friends one day and then the next day they were instantly in love. So we know over a course of several weeks, they were building this friendship and doing all these things together. And then from there, more feelings were getting involved. So I love it. This book is genuinely making me want to book a trip to the lake. And I never really grew up going to the lake during the summer, but Lake Tahoe was a few hours away from me and I did go during the summer a few times. And it's just like the epitome of like summer, going on the lake, going on boats, doing jet skis, like just a fun summery vibe where everybody's just out with their friends and hanging out. Like, it's just so good. I really wish I was reading this on the lake. And it's also making me want to read more of Carly Fortune's books. However, I heard this is her best one, but if you guys have read more of her books, I would be really curious to know which ones you guys like from her, because I've heard they're kind of a hit or miss. So after reading this one, I definitely want to know which ones I should read by her. This one is so good though, and I cannot wait to keep going, so I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. This is not a third act breakup. Everything was going so good and we just do not need a third act breakup. I don't know if you guys are the same way that I am, but I am not the biggest fan of a third act breakup, especially when they're just not needed. Everything was going so well. This is getting good. He just did one of the most thoughtful things literally ever. Oh my gosh. If you're wondering, it's on page 303. Why do I want to cry? I'm tearing up. I was not expecting to tear up right now. The thing that I'm talking about is taking me back to high school because I've been in this setting before and I've done what they're doing. I don't know, it's very nostalgic for me. I'm really enjoying this book. A lot more than I was expecting to. And I have a feeling I'm gonna be finishing it today. Like, I just don't want to stop. This morning I actually started a new book, which is Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. If you know me, The 7-Year Slip is one of my all-time favorite books. It gave me a feeling that no other book has been able to give me. I don't love magical elements, magical realism, anything like that typically, but that book specifically holds a special place in my heart. As a matter of fact, I don't usually have special editions of books, but that book I absolutely needed one. So the original cover of the book, right? The special edition cover. Yeah. The lemons? I don't know why this is green. I think that kind of throws it off, so I don't look at those. But this part, Yeah, and then Sounds Like Love is the same author as The 7 Year Slip, so I was really excited to start reading this year. I was a little bit hesitant because last year when she came out with the novel Love Story, I actually DNF'd it. And that doesn't take away from her writing. Ashley Poston has some of the most beautiful writing genuinely ever. Personally, I just don't think the novel Love Story was for me. I loved the concept of that one, however the execution was just not there for me. So I'm really hoping that Sounds Like Love is more along the lines of The 7 Year Slip as opposed to a novel Love Story, but we will see. I'm also immersive reading this one, which I've been doing a lot recently, where I've been listening to the audiobook as well as reading it on paperback or ebook at the same time. It really gets me into the story more and I've been loving it. So I'm on chapter 5 now, which is 13% into the book. So far it's really good. And I can see a little hint of the magical element, which I'm really enjoying. I'm also really enjoying how the book takes place in California as well as North Carolina, which if you don't know, I was actually born and raised in California. I lived in California my whole life up until a couple years ago. I moved to North Carolina with my husband because of military orders. So these are the only 2 states I've ever lived in. And I live near Raleigh now, and they're talking about LA, but I was from the San Francisco area. But I went to LA so often, so I'm like, I can picture so much, which I always think is so much fun in a book when you can picture the setting and like specific details that they're talking about. Other than that, I don't really have too many comments right now. Oh, I actually do have a comment. This book heavily revolves around music. Just look at the cover. Like, heavily revolves around music. I will say when I'm listening to the audiobook, there's some parts of the book where it's like song lyrics and the narrator is singing it, and it kind of threw me off because I don't think I've ever listened to a book that had song lyrics. And I thought it was really funny, especially because I speed up the audiobook a little bit, so it was like really fast singing out of nowhere. I was just not ready for it. But other than that, that's my update. I don't really have much. It's a really beautiful day today, so I might go out for a walk and listen to more of the audiobook while I'm walking. I've been loving that recently. It is summer in North Carolina, so it gets very hot and humid, so I don't know how long I'll be able to last out there. Maybe I'll walk on my walking pad instead just to get some steps in, but we'll see. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. Hi guys, it is the next day and I've been listening to the audiobook all morning. I only had the sample downloaded on my Kindle, so I don't have a physical copy or it on my Kindle. I'm just listening to the audiobook. I just had to pause it real quick because they have been talking about the new restaurant that Ewan Ashton just opened up, which is the main male character in The 7 Year Slip. If you guys didn't know, the main male character in The 7 Year Slip is a chef. So he's opening up restaurants and they've mentioned him and his restaurants a couple of times. The first time I was like, wait, that name sounds familiar. This time I caught it and I was like, wait, that's him? Ewan Ashton? I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. That's gonna be so embarrassing if that's not how you say his name. Ewan? Ewan? I don't know. Anyways, it's that guy's restaurant and they're talking about going to it. I just really love it when characters overlap between books by the same author. I think it's so fun. It reminds me of that TikTok sound that's like, Ariana, what are you doing here? Because he belongs in that book, but now he's in this book and I think it's so fun. Other than that, I've been really enjoying the book so far. I don't think it'll be my favorite by her just from early on, but we'll see. There's still a lot of the book to go. The magical element is very much present in it already, so I can tell what the magical element is going to be. Basically, the 2 main characters can listen to each other's thoughts and have conversations with their minds, and they don't know who each other are, but I have a feeling I know who it is. Anyways, I just wanted to pop on real quick and mention that I saw my friend Ewan from The 7 Year Slip, and apparently he opened a new restaurant, so can't wait to see how that goes, but I'm gonna keep reading. Alrighty friends, let's talk about my thoughts on all of the books that I read in today's video. Starting off with book number 1, which is The Love Haters by Catherine Center. I adored this book. Honestly, a lot more than I was expecting to, and I absolutely devoured this one. I read it so quick. The audiobook was really good, and also it's like 300 pages, so it's a really short and easy read. But basically, this book follows Katie, who is a producer. She is currently at risk of getting fired, so she has to take any job that she can. She ends up taking a position where she has to fly down to the Florida Keys. She basically has to produce a video for this guy named Tom Hutchinson. He's a Coast Guard rescue swimmer in Key West, and if she does a good job producing this video, then I guess she gets to keep her job. So it's pretty high stakes, and so she flies down. Pretty much everything about Tom is perfect. He even once saved Jennifer Aniston's dog. I really enjoyed this book because there was a lot of things about it that reminded me of my own personal life. He is in the Marine Corps and my husband is in the Air Force. She is a producer slash content creator. She has a YouTube channel on the side. Hey, here I am on YouTube. I also make videos on TikTok and Instagram, so follow me on there. And also Katie talked about her insecurities a lot with her own body, which I feel like is very relatable for so many women, including myself. So I was seeing a lot of people that were DNFing this book because of the insecurity aspect, and they were saying that it was very triggering for them. I personally think it was written in a way that it wasn't very triggering and it just felt very real and raw. And also a majority of that talk is at the beginning of the book. So once you get through that, it definitely does get better. I also found it incredibly fast paced because there was so much that happened in this book, all within 300 pages. Overall, this was just such a fun read for the summer. I would definitely recommend it. I would give this one a solid 4.25 to 4.5. I know that's a little bit picky, but I feel like that's so accurate, like 4.25 to 4.5. Really, I really enjoyed this one and I would highly recommend it. Also, I don't remember there being any spice, and if anything, maybe it was just like talking about things, but even then, I don't think there was spice in this one. The next book I read was One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. As I mentioned, this was my very first Carly Fortune book, so I did not know what to expect going into it, but it did not let me down. I absolutely loved this book. If you are looking for a book to read during the summertime, to sit by the beach, sit by the water, at the lake or the ocean, this is the book. I know I already talked about what the book is about, but overall, I just need you guys to know I highly recommend this book. I didn't read Every Summer After first before going into this one, and I know a lot of people have been saying definitely read that one before picking this one up. It didn't take away from my experience. I still really adored it. But Charlie Florrick is such a flirt, and I was kicking and giggling my feet. I was giggling and kicking my feet every single time this man opened his mouth. This guy is the perfect man. I am so obsessed with him. The way he treated Alice, the way he treated Nan, the way he treated everybody around him. Most girls have been in that situation where they say, leave me alone, I don't want to talk right now. But you're really just testing to see if they're actually gonna leave or if they're gonna ignore you. And Charlie knew. He saw right through it. Charlie knew every single time, and he was like, no, I'm here to stay. We're gonna figure this out. I'm gonna be here to support you. And I love that. That was one of my favorite things about him. The setting, the atmosphere, everything was perfect for the summer. Definitely a highly rated book. I give this one a 4.5 star. I honestly think if I was reading this on the beach or if I had read Every Summer After, I might have rated this a 5 star because I know interconnected standalones are so important sometimes to really build up the next books. However, even as a standalone, it was so highly rated. I highly recommend this one, especially for the summer. Also, a second for the cover. This is the most stunning cover I've ever seen. And the last book that I read is Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I was really nervous about this release because I DNF'd a novel love story by Ashley Poston last year. However, The 7-Year Slip is one of my favorite books, literally of all time. So I was really hoping this year she would not let me down. She absolutely did not let me down. All of her books kind of have a magical element to it, which I think is really neat. And this one was super well executed. Our main character in this one is Joni, and she is a songwriter for famous artists. Very first chapter, she's actually at a concert for one of the people she writes music for. And somehow she ends up on the kiss cam with this very famous artist that she had just met. Fast forward to the present, they can start hearing thoughts in their head that aren't theirs. And then they realize that they're talking to somebody within their mind. They don't really know who it is until they meet back up again, but let's just say I thought it was such a fun aspect to add into a romance book. I feel like in a majority of romance books, they have mentioned their inner thoughts a lot when they're talking about the love interest. This one was cool because every time they were thinking something about the other person can hear those thoughts, so there was no secrets between them. All three of these books are pretty much on the same spice level. There was really not much spice in any of them, which I really enjoyed. I also love this one because it takes place in North Carolina, which if you guys don't know, I do live in North Carolina right now. Overall, I think Sounds Like Love is a solid 4-star read. It's another one that I would definitely recommend. It was just a really fun and magical read, and I definitely would recommend it. Well, those are the 3 books that I read this week. Once again, I would love to know your guys' thoughts if you guys have already read these books. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, it would mean the absolute world to me if you guys would subscribe, like, and comment. I always respond to every single comment, so come say hi, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!